What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to give my prediction for the Alabama Crimson Tide versus the LSU Tigers. Big matchup this Saturday in Bryant-Denny Stadium. You got two teams in the SEC West trying to compete to go to Atlanta at the end of the year and face off against the East SEC Division champion. So um, you got a really good game this Saturday, and a lot of things going on with it. And I'm gonna just read off the stats. But before I do, I just want to uh, give you some news on some, the injury report, if you will, on both teams. Both teams have players battling injuries, and some key guys going to be out for both teams. I'm going to start off with LSU. Brian Kelly has announced that Kai Wingo is going to be out for this game. He just had surgery on a nagging low body injury that he had, and he said he's going to miss at least 6 weeks of action. So, huge blow to that LSU defensive line. Really good player that they're going to be missing. Also, the starting cornerback Zai Alexander. Uh, he was unavailable this week with an injury, and he's likely to miss extended time as well. Also, you know, Denver Harris and Deuce Chestnut. They haven't been practicing, and Kelly pretty much slammed the door on both of those guys playing as well. So um, if you were to count that up, LSU is going to be missing 4 players on their defense, uh, key guys, and they're going to be bringing in some guys, some freshmen to fill in on spots, and also Sage Ryan. He normally plays safety. He's going to be coming in and playing, converting to a cornerback, and him and LaTerrence Welch are going to probably be the starting corners for LSU. So that's going to be huge and something to look at in this matchup. Uh, LSU defensively hasn't really been really good this season, but to lose those guys, that just adds more problems to the defense. But the LSU defense definitely going to have to get some answers with those guys coming in and try to get the continuity going really quick in this matchup. Alabama has a couple of injuries as well. Uh, one of the injuries was one of our linebackers, and Trezor Marshall, transfer linebacker. He missed a lot of games. He had a bruised rib, and he got that in that matchup against Tennessee. And then Terrence Ferguson, one of our offensive linemen, guard positions, uh, he's been missing, action as well. Terry Arnold, our starting corner, he was battling. He suffered a concussion against the Vols, but he's been practicing, so I'm not sure he'll be available. If he's not available, that'll be a huge blow to Alabama. Definitely going to need a player like him against this LSU offense that we're going to be facing this Saturday. Uh, Other than those injuries for Alabama, those are only 3 injuries that might. As far as Ferguson, we have inserted Jaden Roberts, so he's came in and played in. So I don't know if Terrence Ferguson will be able to come in and start, but out of those 3, definitely Terry Arnold. We're definitely going to need him. Uh, that's all the injury reports that I have, and I'm just go ahead and start the LSU Tigers. Read off their stats. Boy, they got a really good player in Jaden Daniels. This guy, dare I say, the Heisman leader right now. This guy's putting up fantastic numbers, and he's the reason that offense is clicking the way it's clicking right now. He's thrown for 2,573 yards, completion percentage of 73.1, has 25 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. This guy has proven a lot of people wrong, including me. He definitely got a whole lot better at passing the ball. As one of his critics, he's definitely the best passer, in my opinion, this year in college football. A lot of people, mention Caleb Williams at USC, but Jaden Daniels, in my opinion, is leading in that category as far as winning the Heisman as a quarterback. Um, Dude is outstanding, quick, very quick. very decisive with the offense, knows exactly where to put the ball. I mean, this guy is everything for LSU, man. Alabama's going to have their hands full with this guy. Alabama's going to be tasked with keeping him in, stopping him from scrambling when plays break down in the passing game. This is going to be Alabama's toughest quarterback that they face this whole season. It might be the best quarterback they face all season, but that remains to be seen. But definitely the best quarterback on their schedule right now. And Alabama's defense is going to be in for a ride. Um, at running back, they got Logan Diggs, beast of a player at 611 yards rushing, 5.8 yards of average, 6 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels is right behind him. Like I said, Jaden Daniels is just lethal with his passing game and his legs. Jaden Daniels got 521 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, 5.7 yards a carry. Just elite and very, very elite offense. The number one offense in the country, might I add. Currently, they're ranked number one. So, really, really good offense. Josh Williams, he's also a guy that can run the ball. But, I mean, they just elite everywhere on that offense. Just really, really good offense for LSU. Malik Neighbors, 981 yards receiving on the season, averaging 17.5 yards reception, 9 touchdowns. He got a buddy over there with him, Brian Thomas Jr., 732 yards receiving, 17.4. Identical averages from both wide receivers, 11 touchdowns. Then he also got another guy that a lot of people don't talk about, Kyron Lacy. He has 308 yards receiving, 19.3 yards average, 3 touchdowns. Mason Taylor, the tight end, beast of a player, 189 yards receiving, 9.4 yards of average, and he has a touchdown. See, this LSU offense is going to be very, very challenging to stop for Alabama's defense. The Alabama defense is really good, but they haven't faced the offense like this all season, and they faced some great offenses. Texas had a really, really good offense. Ole Miss had a really good offense. Tennessee, in my opinion, got a good offense, but nothing like this LSU offense that they're going to face. The Alabama defense is going to have their hands full. I keep saying it, but it's going to be a game. Um, like I said, defensively for LSU, a lot of guys out. Kai Wingo, definitely a catalyst on that defense that's going to be out. But they got Mason Smith back. Really, really good defensive lineman. Hasn't really shown out as much. I don't know if he's still battling injury, but definitely a player. If he's healthy or close to it, that's a guy that Alabama's offensive line going to have to account for. But the number one guy that I'm afraid of is Harold Perkins Jr. This guy, really, really good player, played really, really good last season as a freshman. And this season they have, moved him around a lot. Sometimes they play him, as a rusher, and then sometimes they let him sit back and play linebacker position. Uh, in my opinion, he's really, really good at stopping the quarterback from scrambling out the pocket. And I think they've gone back to doing that the last couple of games. Definitely a guy that makes that LSU defense really, really good. If they can get all the players to play like Harold Perkins, man, this LSU defense can really, really step up their game. Could this be the game that LSU puts it all together defensively? They already got it, everything done. They're doing it, they're getting it done offensively, but can they come together in this game defensively? It's going to be the key, in my opinion. And really, really good, talented defense. Just they haven't shown up yet so far this season. Total sacks so far, LSU has 14 sacks on the season. So, like I said, uh, can they put it together in this matchup? That's going to be interesting to see. Now, go over to Alabama's team. Jalen Miro, so far, is known for 1,617 yards. Has a 64.7 completion percentage, averaging 10.6 yards of average, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Definitely a guy you can tell is learning on the job. First season, really starting as the starter. Um, Definitely has grown since that Texas game. Uh, lost that game early on in the season and was turning the ball over a lot. Still continues to struggle, from here and there. Uh, but they got to change the rules on, interceptions because the last matchup, I wouldn't really consider that a interception. He threw the ball to Jermaine Burton and it bounced off Jermaine Burton's shoulder and landed in a Tennessee player's hand. So even though they count that as an interception, I don't really count that, on him. It's just a fluke play. But had really he got to clean up the interceptions. Um, like I said, didn't really throw one against Arkansas, but had that one against Tennessee. But definitely learn on the job. Definitely needs to work on reading defenses better and making checks at line of scrimmage. Great deep ball. Uh, Probably the best in the country at throwing the deep ball, but struggles still, to hit the intermediate passes. For some reason, just won't hit the running back out the backfield. That's one notch that I have about him. And his decision making sometimes is kind of questionable. But every game that Alabama's had so far this season, they needed him to do something. He did it. So one thing I would like to see him do is scramble, out the pocket, run the ball more. I don't know if he's dealing with an injury. Maybe some of them rumors were true about him having a leg injury because it just seems like he doesn't take off as much. But we saw some flashes of that against Tennessee. So uh, he can definitely help this offense if he works on his short passing game and then run the ball. This Alabama offense can look really, really good. Chase McClellan at running back, uh, really, really good player for Alabama. 569 yards, 4.7 yards of average, 4 touchdowns. Really, really good player for Alabama. They also have Rodell Williams with 339 yards, 5.1 yards of average with a touchdown. Um, Jalen Miro, he's third on the team with 142 yards rushing, and he has 5 touchdowns. So the Alabama run game is not where it needs to be, in my opinion. Uh, but they're decent, for the most part. Definitely going to have to run the ball in this matchup to have some success against this uh, LSU defense. But they can definitely pick up their running game. Wide receiver, Jermaine Burton is the guy for Alabama. 508 yards receiving, 22.1 yards average each reception, 5 touchdowns on the season. He also has a guy in Isaiah Bond, 360 yards receiving with 3 touchdowns. And Amari Knobloch is third on the team, a tight end, like a wide receiver slash big body tight end, 218 yards receiving with 3 touchdowns. So Alabama has some guys, at the wide receiver position as well. Jalen Miro loves Jermaine Burton. He's hit Isaiah Bond a couple times this season. So got to get the wide receivers more involved. And like I said, just try to not so much worse too much about the pass, deep ball, try to hit the intermediate passes, but definitely some wide receivers that Alabama can get the ball to. CJ Dupree at tight end, get him more involved. Malik Benson, another wide receiver that's been kind of quiet, but Jalen Miro has shown the ability that he can pass the ball around. He just got to be more consistent. Now, defensively, Alabama has a lot of great players, and since Kevin Steele coming in, uh, this defense just night and day from when Pete Golden was there. The linebacker play has increased, and looked a lot better than it has in the past. Caleb Downs, freshman, he's leading the team with 63 total tackles. He has 1 pass defended, 2 interceptions. Great player for Alabama. This guy is playing at the safety position and very crucial in run support. He's very, very fast. Uh, just a knowledgeable young man, and for him to be able to start as a freshman, that tells you all you need to know about him. And he's leading on the team with total tackles. Deontay Lawson, he has 49 total tackles, 2 sacks, 2 pass defended. Very, very athletic guy. Definitely an upgrade from last season in linebacker core. He's the quarterback of the defense and definitely changed, the momentum of this defense so far. Jahed Campbell, Another guy that Alabama just showing out this season. These last couple games that they had definitely stepped up, made some key 4th-and-1 stops. I mean, Shahad Campbell and uh, Deontay Lawson, those two guys in the middle on their defense, man, makes their defense really, really good. Alabama also had, like I said, Kool-Aid McKinstry on one side. And they also got Terrion Arnold, if he's healthy, to play in this game. Two great cornerbacks for Alabama. Malachi Moore, really, really good safety for us, played a star position for us. Really good player. Chris Braswell, Tim Keenan, Tim Smith, Jaheim Otis in the middle, Quindarius Robinson. Alabama has a lot of players. Dallas Turner that can step up, you know, in this matchup and continue to do what they've been doing all season. Defense at first, early on in the season, like they had to, buckle down and get things right, and gave up those late touchdowns against Texas early on in the season. But since then, Alabama defense has been lights out for the most part. Uh, what more can you ask for if you're an Alabama fan for the defense? The only thing uh, that I would like for the defense is, to continue to get better. But I feel like we have to complement the defense with the offense. The offense can't have any 3-and-outs in this matchup. They got to help this defense out because this defense is going to need it in this matchup against LSU. I got some more stats that I want to read off. Um, Points per game. LSU is averaging 47.4 points a game. That's elite, very, very elite offense. Uh, Anytime you get an offense almost scoring 50, points a game, that's elite. So kudos to LSU. They really, really do have the best offense in the country. Alabama, on the other side, is just averaging 30.6. And really, that number to me is kind of misleading because Alabama's really averaging around like 24 to 27 points a game. So definitely got to pick it up for Alabama if you want to be able to hang with LSU. They're very, very good offensively. Yards per game, LSU's getting 552.9 yards a game. Alabama's getting 366.6. So definitely got uh, elite offense in LSU. Alabama definitely has to step it up. And like I said, it goes through Jalen Miro, in my opinion, and the play calling as well with Sonny Reese. Opponent points per game, LSU is giving up 26.5 points a game to opponents. Alabama's giving up 16.5. So out of the two, Alabama has the better defense of the two. So it's going to really be a battle of strength versus, strength on strength and weakness against weakness. LSU's offense versus Alabama's defense. It's going to be much fun to watch this game and see what happens. A lot of things can happen in this matchup. Opponent yards per game, LSU's giving up 395 to, on their defense. Opponents are getting 395 on their defense. Opponents are getting 306 yards on Alabama's defense. So, and interesting matchup. I can't wait to see what happens. And I'm gonna go back and read, the stats for this game, as far as their opponents and who they played, and give you a background of what happened in each one of those matchups. Now, basically, I'm gonna give you last five, matchups between each opponent. Okay, LSU played Arkansas and beat them 34-31. Arkansas team really, really tough. Gave everybody problems and only lost by a couple of points in each opponent in the SEC. So Arkansas really, really tough team. Ole Miss beat LSU 55-49, high scoring game. Both teams had elite offenses, and both teams just put up a lot of points in that matchup, and LSU lost that matchup. And it was on the road. LSU then went on the road to play Missouri. Won the game 49-39. Missouri offense, Missouri, sneaky good team, but doesn't have a good defense, but was able to put up 39 against LSU. Like I said, the LSU defense just has to get a whole lot better in this matchup. Against Auburn, they beat Auburn 48-18. You start to see, defense come alive a little bit, but Auburn really doesn't have a good offense as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And then against Army, they beat them 62-0. So they held, Army to 0 points. So that was good to see that for LSU. Alabama, uh, they beat Ole Miss at home 24-10. Uh, went on the road to Mississippi State, beat them 40-17. Went on the road to Texas A&M, beat them 26-20. Against Arkansas, beat them 24-21. And then the last matchup, they beat Tennessee 34-20. And really in that matchup, Alabama only scored 27 points because they scored a late fumble. They made Joe Milton, fumble the ball, and they recovered and ran it in for a touchdown. Jahi Campbell did it. So uh, Alabama got to score more than 24 to 27 points if they want to hang in this matchup against LSU. Uh, but great defensive numbers, on the other side. Arkansas matchup, uh, defense kind of let off the gas in the second half and let, Arkansas come back. Really, really tough Arkansas team. So uh, that was an interesting matchup. Now, I'm looking at the line right now. The line changed. The line was actually, I think, at 1.4 points. Now it's down to negative 3 points. Game's going to be played in Tuscaloosa. It's going to be a night game starting at 6:45 p.m. If I had to pick a winner for this matchup, I think it's going to come down to a lot of factors. If Alabama starts off slow like they did against Tennessee in their last matchup, this game can get really, really bad for Alabama, in my opinion. You can't keep going 3 and out, back to back to back, and not expect, the defense to not give up points. Now, Alabama's defense, we're going to really, really see how good they are in this matchup against LSU. If Alabama can't stop LSU's defense, this can potentially get out of hand for Alabama. Um, but I think Alabama's defense is going to play good for the most part. I don't think they're going to get caught off guard like how they did come sleepwalking against Tennessee. But the potential is there. Don't get me wrong; it's really, really there. If we do like how they did, against Tennessee, I could see LSU being up 30-7 or something like that. And then by that time, the game's going to be out of whack at that point. One thing about Alabama, though, they're really, really good at, halftime adjustments. They come out in the second half and they look, a lot better than they did minus the Arkansas game. It's actually the reverse in the Arkansas game. They came out on fire, but then uh, they let off the gas. And Alabama hasn't played a really complete game yet. Uh, So, in me saying that, I think Alabama's going to try to establish the run this matchup. Statistically, LSU is not really good defensively. I think they're like 88th in the country or something like that. Uh, they're not top 15 or 20 in anything, defensively. So I think Alabama's going to take advantage of that. I think they're going to try to establish the run. And like I said, LSU got a lot of guys in the secondary that's going to be out. And I did some researching. LSU is nowhere, as far as sacks. They're not really, really good at creating sacks. But um, if Alabama offensive line can hold up, I think Alabama have a great day passing the ball and running the ball on this defense. But just as me saying that, this is LSU. Uh, if they scheme up really, really good, they might get some sacks in this matchup, and it's very highly likely that they can do that, especially if they move, Harold Perkins around in different positions, And if I'm Brian Kelly, I'm definitely going to put Harold Perkins on Caden Proctor's side, left tackle for Alabama. He's been struggling all season. Alabama has given up 30 sacks so far this season. So it's going to be a matchup. Can LSU take advantage of Alabama's offensive line? And can Alabama offense take advantage of LSU's defense? You know, and I've heard a lot of people with their predictions, but I think another key thing in this matchup that a lot of people are not talking about is special teams. Um, for Alabama, special teams, as far as Kool-Aid McKinstry, it's been a problem. He hasn't been fielding kicks, just won't catch it, just runs away from it. You can't afford to do that in this matchup. We got to have somebody that's going to feel the punch. I think Nick Saban mentioned that Isaiah Bond, well, he even mentioned it himself, Isaiah Bond, the player, is that he's going to get some playing time at that position. We definitely got to feel these punts, try to get as much yardage as we can to be able to keep up with LSU's offense. It's really, really good. And on the other hand, the offense got to sustain drives, because if you don't sustain drives, that's a defense killer. It's going to tire our defense out, and we can't afford to do that against this LSU offense. And we do not want to give them a short field because LSU is very, very explosive. The one thing I can say, though, I know it's the second game of the season, but when LSU played against Florida State, in the second half, the offense kind of sputtered. And Florida State started to run the ball, decided to out physical LSU. I could definitely see Alabama doing that early on, establish long drives. Keep that LSU offense off the field, as much as possible, and field punts. And then Will Riker for Alabama, been quiet the last couple of games. I think he's going to be needing this game. If the Alabama offense can just get him, even if we don't score a touchdown, just get in position where we can score field goals. I think Alabama will be fine as long as the defense is rested. Like I said, run that ball, keep that defense fresh, sustain drives, and Alabama wins this game. If they can't do that, LSU is going to come in there and they're going to shock the world and uh, do it again and beat Alabama back to back. But I got Alabama win this matchup. Can't particularly give a score. This game could potentially be a high scoring game. Um, Even though Alabama's offense hasn't been, up to par, it's not really elite. LSU's defense hasn't really been good either. So it can be a trade-off, but I got Alabama win this matchup at home. Uh, Nick Saban stated he wanted to win this game he wanted his players to win this game for his birthday. Uh, we're going to see what type of Alabama team comes out. The bye week is going to help both teams, but I think it's really, really going to help Alabama in this matchup. I got Alabama win this matchup. So, but what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And once again, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.